I've realised something recently. Many people outside of Singapore don't really associate this island with nature, given its futuristic skyline, design and architecture. That beyond the tourist attractions, it's mainly noisy, crowded and stressful. But me and my husband have been living in Singapore for the past 7 months now, and we've experienced some of the greener, calmer side, but also the opportunity to time travel. We had just stepped into one of the last rural villages left in Singapore, Kampong Lorong Buangkok. It's an extraordinary piece from the past and shows you what Singapore was like before its rapid urbanization in the 1960s. As we explored the area, it was easy to imagine the entire island sprawled with different versions of this very kampong, before being replaced with the high-rise HDB homes. After doing some research, I learnt some amazing things about this kampong. The owner, Shen Mei Ong, still lives here. She had inherited the land from her father, who bought it back in 1956, nearly a decade before Singapore gained its independence. I find it remarkable that these trees, these homes and residents have seen so much change over the decades, all from this single vantage point. Found out that Shen Mei Ong rents out some of these properties to a mixture of families. It's about 25 families living here, and they happen to be Malay and Chinese families as well. What's really interesting is that some of these properties are rented out for as little as $30 per month, which I think is incredible. I was left speechless when I learned about this, but what really shocked me was that the land may be worth over $70 million to developers who wish to demolish it and build more high-rise buildings on it. But astonishingly, according to some newspaper reports, Shen Mei Ong has told them that Lorong Buangkok is not for sale. I wondered what could make someone pass up $70 million, and would I have done the same? Perhaps it's the memories of the land, of the many families that have lived here, of children playing together while scaring the chickens roaming freely on the land, of people asking each other how they are before walking along dusty paths back to their homes, of kitchens preparing delicious dishes, and of families retreating to their verandas in the cooler Singapore evenings. It reminds me so much of Bangladesh. I have strong memories of Bangladeshi village life and the community spirit there, where people share the good and difficult times. I remember how in my parents' villages there would be regular dinner invitations and people's homes would spill with their neighbours to share the joys. At the same time, due to Bangladesh being highly prone to devastating floods, I've seen with my own eyes of how the rising monsoon waters can flood the land and those same homes. It's when that quintessential community spirit truly comes alive. The same community spirit also exists in kampongs across Asia too. It really felt like time stopped at the kampong, and it felt like everything life is meant to be and feel like. Oh, I'm still looking, yeah, but thank you though. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just going to try this gyudon now. like my vegetables with extra garlic. So good. On the outside, sometimes rural life can feel behind or stuck in the past, considering the rapid modernisation and technological advances of our times. But on the inside, while technology is used and appreciated and can definitely improve our living conditions, there just seems to be a collective understanding in more rural settings that home is much more than intricate designs, that safety is much more than surveillance cameras, and that real connection and relationships exist beyond the pings from a device. Technology is welcome, but it's not the whole answer. I think that human connection is. Our recent visit to Kampong Lorong Buangkok had me thinking a lot about what the future will look like for our world. I'm certain it will be completely different to today, possibly less green and more artificial, and probably a lot more technologically advanced. We may find our world will change its core values, for better or for worse, and we may find ourselves more disconnected from one another. It's one reason why I think the great efforts in Singapore to try and keep the Kampong community spirit alive is a wonderful thing. At the same time, in my years as a medical doctor, I realized how stressed people are from all walks of life. From hearing the many stories of work stress, long hours, and the effects of loneliness has me concerned about the world we live in today, of the increasing need to grow in profits, GDP, and population size, rather than growing in humanity. Perhaps it's why, when I sit alone, I dream of Eden, an alternative world, where our lives are much simpler, more peaceful, less distracted. Where we dwell under the shade of trees with only sprinkles of modernity to meet our necessities. Are we all just following a carbon copy timeline with checkpoints along the way, doing well at school, then university, maneuvering successfully in careers, making money for ourselves and the economy, buying things, until one day we retire, if we can afford to? At which point along the way did we sacrifice our rest, connections, and mental health? I keep thinking Shen Mei-ong's unwillingness to sell her land, and one day it might be sold, considering Singapore's land scarcity. But the last kampong on the mainland has really made me think deeply about what the value of having a simpler life truly is. Perhaps it's priceless. Now that I'm not too far off the halfway point of life, if we use the average life expectancy, I only wish for life to become more restful so that we can enjoy our time with our loved ones. And I think, by looking into our past, learning about our ancestors and connecting with our lands, we can pull from the human values we have left behind and bring them back to the future.